Is that a direct hit on the port bow? Inside the Combat Information Center of the USS Gerald R. Ford, the red emergency lighting flickered, but the air remained dead silent. No panique. No screaming. Just the quiet, mechanical hum of two nuclear reactors humming at 100% capacity. At 0300 hours in the South China Sea, the first expeditionary fleet of the Qin Empire made its grand entrance into human history. They were 8-foot-tall, chitin-armored conquerors who had subdued 12 star systems using orbital kinetic strikes and high-frequency energy lances. Their strategy for Earth was simple. Target the planet's primary surface warfare asset, vaporize it in a single strike, and broadcast the footage to force an immediate, global surrender. A single plasma torpedo had pierced the clouds, striking the outer titanium hull of the carrier with enough energy to melt a city block. It scorched the paint. It dented the outer steel plating. It knocked over a mug of black coffee sitting on the tactical console. Standing at the central display, Admiral James Vance slowly reached down, picked up his spilled coffee mug, and wiped his thumb across the stain. He didn't look at the damage reports. He didn't order an emergency distress call. He slowly turned his head toward his intelligence officer, his eyes narrowing into two slits of pure, unadulterated historical spite. "Lieutenant," Vance said softly, his voice cutting through the hum of the cooling fans like an ice pick. "What did they just hit?" "The Ford Admiral. Outer hull section 4. Vance set the empty mug down with a sharp clack. He looked up at the main view screen, where an 800-meter alien warship was slowly uncloaking 3 miles above the water, its hull glowing with arrogant purple light. "They touched the boat," Vance murmured, a dark, terrifying smile spreading across his face. In 300 years of American naval history, you'd think the universe would have learned the one rule. The alien flagship opened a fleet-wide transmission. High Executioner Vrax's synthesized voice boomed over the open channel, vibrating the air above the ocean. "Inferior surface dwellers of Earth," Vrax roared, his 4 eyes flashing with victory. "Your floating fortress has been struck by the Empire. Lower your defenses and prepare for planetary subjugation." Admiral Vance didn't argue. He didn't state his rank. He just tapped the fleet-wide comms button on his armrest. "All ships in Strike Group 12, Vance growled, his voice echoing across 3 destroyers, 2 guided missile cruisers, and an attack submarine resting 400 feet below the waves. Proportional response is authorized. Light 'em up." What followed was not a clean sci-fi energy duel. It was 200 years of naval doctrine and industrial spite unleashed all at once. The Qin Empire had calculated Earth's technological level based on radio signals and civilian satellites. They knew humans had primitive nuclear weapons and rudimentary kinetic rifles. What their tactical AI had completely failed to account for was the absolute, unhinged obsession the United States military had with protecting its naval vessels. Before Vrax could order a second plasma salvo, the ocean around the carrier exploded into a blinding wall of fire. The cruiser USS Gettysburg ripple-fired 32 SM-6 missiles in under 15 seconds, the solid rocket boosters tearing through the night sky. Simultaneously, 2 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers opened up with their experimental 150-kilowatt optical dazzler lasers, blinding the alien warship's primary ocular arrays and short-circuiting its thermal sensors. "What is that?" Vrax shrieked on his bridge as his tactical HUD flooded with millions of red error messages. "They are not retreat stacking. They are accelerating toward US." From the flight deck of the Ford, 6 F-35C Lightning IIs were launched into the air in rapid succession using electromagnetic catapults. They didn't engage at visual range. They popped up from the cloud cover at Mach 1.6 and ripple-fired AGM-158C long-range anti-ship missiles straight into the alien warship's exposed ventral anti-gravity generators. The heavy, stealth-guided warheads didn't just breach the Qin armor. They tore through the hyperdense alloy like a tin can, detonating inside the engine bay in a blinding sequence of orange thermonuclear fireballs. The 800-meter alien flagship didn't drop a second plasma bolt. Its anti-gravity drives failed completely, and the colossal, burning warship began plunging toward the ocean like a falling skyscraper. Down in the dark water below, the Virginia-class attack submarine USS North Carolina was waiting. "Fire Tube 1 and 2, the submarine commander ordered calmly. Two heavy ADCAP torpedoes slammed directly into the falling alien ship the exact second its hull touched the water surface, triggering a massive, dual-kinetic explosion that literally lifted the alien flagship 3 feet out of the ocean before snapping its spine completely in half. In less than 4 minutes, the lead conqueror of the Kryn Empire's vanguard was reduced to a smoking pile of floating scrap metal, sinking fast into 2,000 fathoms of salt water. On the bridge of the secondary alien ship hovering back in high orbit, the fleet overseer stared at the telemetry screen in utter, paralyzed horror. The entire engagement had lasted 312 seconds. The translation unit on the flagship console clicked twice, playing the final, frantically recorded audio clip from Vrax's suit mic right before his ship hit the water. "Do not engage the floating steel structures. It does not matter how small your strike is. If you scratch their paint, they will unleash the sun upon you. Abort the invasion. Retreat." The remaining alien warships didn't fire an orbital laser. They didn't attempt a second drop. They engaged hyperdrive at 200% capacity and cleared the solar system forever. Alien empires always assume that taking over a planet is a simple calculation of force and technology. But humanity? You can mess with their diplomacy, you can mess with their satellites, and you can even threaten their borders. But the moment you touch an American boat in open water, you aren't fighting a military anymore. You're waking up a monster that has been waiting for an excuse.